take that as you will. Fucking hell, did it go off with a bang. Ate this shit up. Will actually have my heart forever. Yes, yes, yes. Trust me when I say it's dark. Hey book besties. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Siân. It's been a few months since we've done a roundup, yes, no, maybe, of all the books that I've read this year. I've done a video that was January to February. I've done March to April. And I've done May, June and July. So now let's do August, September, October. The time has come. Oh, that's a good brew, that. Just before we start, can we take a little second to appreciate my nails? Don't look too closely, but at a glance, I've done these myself. These are not gels. This is literally just nail varnish and my natural nails. Like, my nails go really long. I'm so proud of these. I took a break from getting gels done because, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to save a bit of money. And also I wanted to let my nails like heal a little bit. I know gels aren't really damaging, but like the top layer of the nail just needed to heal. So I've grown them out and gave myself a little money. Anyway, back to the reason you're actually here, the books. So if I remember rightly, the last video ended with Goldfinch. Not on a great note because I really didn't enjoy Goldfinch. It disappointed me massively. So let's go to the start of August. What did I start off with? Okay, we had Love and Other Killers by Bryn Weaver. I'm gonna say yes. This is a little novella. It's like the kind of epilogue to the Ruinous Love trilogy. So Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, Scythe and Sparrow. This set up her next series really, really well and also rounded off that series like so nicely. It was really funny. I gave it 4 stars. Definitely worth a read. I did this on audiobook, but definitely worth a read. Then I had an arc. Can I just say that August was the month for arcs for me? Like, I don't know what was going on, but I had so many arcs that came through. So a lot of my month was taken up reading these. So the first arc that I had was One Dark Kiss by Rebecca Zanetti. I'm gonna say no to this one. I gave it 2.25 stars. It just wasn't for me. It's a fantasy, sort of. Also like a dark mafia romance. I wasn't really vibing with the mafia element of it, which is such a shame because mafia romance is my favourite genre. Didn't really vibe it. Didn't like the MMC. Didn't really like the dynamic of the FMC and her, like the men who rented her house. It's supposed to be like a kind of spin on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It just didn't hit for me. I wasn't a fan. But then, oh my god, this book is out now, so I would urge you to go and read this. I'm going to say 100% yes. I've not even told you what the book's called yet. The book is called Blue Arrow Island and it's by Brenda Rothert. Yes, yes, yes. Please go and read this book. This was a fantasy set on like, imagine, ow, that really hurt, like right in there. Anyway, as I was saying, imagine like Lost, the TV show, meets Hunger Games. That was what this book was like. It was absolutely fantastic. I couldn't put it down. I gave it 4.5 stars, so honestly, definitely worth a read. Just really, really gripping. The story was so compelling. Go and read it, please. Then we have Game of Nines by James Patterson. Yes. I did this one on audiobook. Do you know what reeled me in? So I have an Audible account that I have a subscription that I pay for every month, and one book popped up on there that was free with my membership, like because I pay, I got this for free. So the thing that drew me in, it had a photo of Shailene Woodley on the front, you know, the girl from Divergent, and I absolutely love her. I think she's an incredible actor. It had her picture on the front, so I thought, ooh, what's this? And it was like a thriller about a serial killer who every 9 years, he kills somebody in a remote place and he says, I'll be here for a week. You have 1 week to find me. Here's some clues. He sends clues to like 3 detectives around the world. So they congregate every 9 years and try and find him. And if they find him, he's like, fair play, I'll come in. And if you don't find me, I'll see you in 9 years' time. And then he picks new detectives to try and solve his crime. So Shailene was the narrator. It was absolutely fantastic. I was shook to the core. I think it took me about 4 hours to listen to. So it's a novella, but it's a little bit of a longer novella. It was brilliant. If you get the opportunity to listen to this, because I think because she's an actual actor and not just a voice actor, it just like elevated it that little bit more. 100% worth a read. I really loved it. I gave it 4.25 stars. Another arc, we have The Good Girl Effect by Sarah Kate. Gave this 4 stars. This book was brilliant. I'm gonna say yes. This book is a Salacious Players Club legacy book. So if you've read the Salacious Players Club, Madame Eve St. Clair, was that her name? Eden. Her name was Eden, it wasn't Eve. Eden St. Clair's son Jack, he's now all grown up. Really beautiful story. The spice, obviously the spice was hitting, but it was great. Then I moved on to the Edge of Darkness trilogy. Starting off with Insatiable, I'm gonna say yes. Absolutely. Check your trigger warnings for this whole series because Jesus Christ, it is dark. Trust me when I say it's dark. Gave this 4.5 stars, ate this shit up, read it in less than 24 hours. Cage and Stacey will actually have my heart forever. I'm a dark romance girly through and through though. Always have been, always will be. Moving on to Voracious, book 2. Also gave it 4.5 stars. I'm gonna say yes. Ate this shit up. The story just got wilder and wilder. Like, just couldn't have guessed where it was gonna go. There were so many things that absolutely broke my heart and then made me so angry and so upset, but parts of it that I absolutely loved, and I can't really explain it to you. You just kind of have to trust me and just go read it yourself. Finishing off with Restitution, book 3, I'm gonna say yes. I gave it 4 stars. Was my least favourite of the series, but still rated really highly. This one was a lot more funny than the other two. The other two were more serious because the topics are very serious and dark. But this one had more of a comedic element, which I did really enjoy. Overall, a top tier trilogy. If you're a dark romance lover and you haven't read this trilogy yet, you need to. Then I had another arc. I had Wildcard by Elsie Silver, and Periwinkle Pony sent me a limited edition purple pages signed by Mother. How stunning is that? I'm gonna say yes to this book. I gave it 5 stars. This was an incredible conclusion to the Rose Hill series. Every single book in this series has been 5 stars for me. Elsie Silver's writing is literally like crack. I need a regular hit of it. Like, I don't really want to wait till March to get Fever Dream. So if she could just hurry that along, that would be great. Bash and Gwen. This book is ex-boyfriend's dad. Go and read it. Then I had another arc. I told you this was the month for arcs, I wasn't lying. I had Play Me by Adriana Locke. Unfortunately, this one wasn't for me. I'm gonna say no. I gave it 2.5 stars. I think that was probably being a little bit generous. It was a sports romance, and from what I recall, there wasn't much sport that happened in it at all. The main characters, the relationship felt really forced, like they were forced together. It wasn't organic, the build-up, so I'm gonna say no. Then we have Trust Me Always by Megan Brandy. This is book 3 in the Boys of Avix series. I'm gonna say, it pains me, I'm gonna say maybe for this book. Say You Swear is on my god tier list. Promise Me Not almost reached that level for me. They were both absolutely incredible, so I had such high hopes for Cameron and Brady. And I hate to say it, but I feel like they were better as friends. I loved the build-up, but then when they actually got together, I was like, it's a bit weird. The idea of them as a couple was better. Does that make sense? That being said, I gave it 3.5 stars. Obviously the writing was excellent. Moving on to The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. My mum gave me this one, she'd read it already. That's why the spine is so cracked. I'm gonna say maybe for this one as well. Wasn't her best work. Gave it 3.25 stars. It was still a very enjoyable read, but the epilogue of it didn't really have the shock factor that I've come to expect from her books. It was very suspenseful, as always, and did keep me on the edge of my seat. And I didn't guess the plot twist, because I never do. I try so hard, I never get it. Then I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm gonna say yes. 4 stars. Absolutely loved it. What I will say about this book is that it's a fantasy, obviously, and the first 90% of the book was fine. It was enjoyable, it was entertaining, it was same old fantasy that I've read time and time again. Nothing really special, but still, yeah, I'll read it. But the last 10%, fucking hell. I wish the whole book would have brought the same energy as the last 10% because I was literally on pins. I really need to get to book 2 after the way it ended. I really loved it. Like, that elevated the book so much for me, so I'm gonna say yes. Then we have Diabound by Sable Sorensen. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? I'm gonna say yes. I gave this one 3.75 stars. I do think it was a tiny bit overhyped, just a little. One thing I will say is that I found the writing at times to be quite juvenile, and I think in the back of my mind that is what has knocked it down for me. It had really great tension, it's enemies to lovers, like it had trials, direwolves, all the good stuff. And it ended on a cliffhanger that had me fighting for my life. Then I had an arc of Willing Prey by Ali Oleander. I'm gonna say yes. I won't lie, this book is like pure smut. The FMC needs money and she gets propositioned by her ex-husband's boss to come and live in her house for 30 days and he will pay her £1,000 a day to let him chase her through the woods, and if he catches her, he sleeps with her. He is looking for willing prey so he can hunt her in the woods. And that is essentially the plot. So if you're looking for a deep emotional connection, you will not find it in these pages. But if you're looking for a silly, goofy, smutty little time, that's what this book will give you. I gave it 3.75 stars. The spice was hitting, not gonna lie, it was. Worth a read? Yeah. Love Arranged by Lauren Asher? Yes. 4.5 stars. This was a beautiful conclusion to the Lakefront Billionaire series. This was sort of giving enemies to lovers, fake dating, it was like a fake engagement. Lorenzo and Lily literally gave me everything I wanted. Both secretly harboured all these feelings for the other for such a long time. And when they finally got together, I was here for it. Such beautiful stories. This series is honestly incredible. Bitter Burn by Sierra Simone. Yes. 4 stars. Oh, this book just gave me everything. This was the conclusion to the Lioness trilogy and it fucking hell did it go off with a bang. This book was the majority of Mark's POV. I was so fucking happy about that. I can't even tell you, like Daddy Mark. Oh, this whole series I had been dying to take a peek inside his mind and I wasn't disappointed. The plot twists kept coming, the espionage was espionaging. This series was honestly, how Sierra Simone came up with this concept, fucking mind-blowing. If you haven't read this series, you really need to. Then we have Crossed by Emily McIntyre. I'm gonna say yes. 4.25 stars. This is book 5 in the Never After series. This one is Hunchback of Notre Dame inspired. This is a corrupt priest, okay? This man's a priest. And he's also a serial killer. He sets out to kill Amara and he ends up becoming obsessed with her. Take that as you will. Then I read Psychotic Obsession by Lee Rivers. After reading the Edge of Darkness trilogy, I had such high hopes for this because this is Daddy Tobias, okay? Do you know how much I loved that man in the Edge of Darkness trilogy? I loved him. But I'm gonna say no for this because this needs to get in the bin. This like ruined the image of Tobias that I had in my head. I just had like this wonderful idea of him in my head and this just took that and destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it. I wish I hadn't read this. It's just no for me, unfortunately. There's people out there who absolutely love it and when I've voiced my opinions online, there have been people who've been very, very upset about this, but unfortunately for me, it was just a no. Then we have Every Spiral of Fate by Tahera Mafi. Yes, this is book 4 in the This Woven Kingdom series. This book was everything. I waited so long for this. I haven't waited that long. I really haven't waited that long. I only read the series this year. But now I have to wait a really long time for book 5, the finale. I'm fucking obsessed with Cyrus, okay? Obsessed. This is YA as fuck. I'm obsessed with this man, right? This book gave me life. It gave me everything that I wanted to happen, except for them kissing. Like, why have they not kissed yet? Hello? Anyway, I'm frothing at the mouth for the last book, so if that's any indication, you need to go read this book. And I gave it 4.75 stars. Oh, the last book made it to my God tier list. That's how incredible this series is. Please, I feel it's so underrated compared to like Shatter Me, which appropriately hyped, don't get me wrong, but this series as well, it needs some love, guys. It needs some love. Then we have Anathema by Kerry Lake. I'm gonna say yes. I gave it 4.5 stars. This book was unlike anything I have ever read before. It did take me a little while to get to grips with the world building, which I often find in fantasy. Kerry Lake really said dark gothic fantasy with this one. The spooky vibes were absolutely immaculate. It was written so incredibly well, so descriptive, and just something really, really original. I ate it up. I decided to read all dark romance for the month of October in honour of spooky season. So if I haven't said, which I don't think I have, the books I'm on now are October's books. So I tried to stick to it where I could. And I mean, I know Every Spiral of Fate wasn't, but that arrived and I couldn't not read it. So we took a teeny little detour from the TBR. But yeah, Anathema, My god, go and read it. Then Sinner's Atone was released and I deviated from the TBR once again. However, this does fall under the category of dark romance, so technically it wasn't breaking the rules. I'm gonna say yes for this one. I gave it 4.25 stars. Not quite as good as the first 3 books in the series, but I've literally waited years for this book, guys. Years. So I was eating up every little morsel that some sketcher gave us. Trust. Then I had an arc by an indie author called Mila Carbo. This is called The Harvest Games, Trick, Treat or Die. This was a little Halloween novella. I'm gonna say maybe for this one. I gave it 3 stars. It was a perfect read for Halloween. It was written extremely poetically. The writing was absolutely beautiful. Like, I cannot fault the writing. However, one thing for me was that sometimes it was so poetically written that I struggled to understand what she was trying to say. What is the point of this part? I don't understand, because the poem was kind of riddly. So it was a good thing, but sometimes it hindered it a bit for me. Maybe I'm just not poetically inclined. So that's why I'm saying a maybe, because I did struggle with that a little bit. Then I had an arc of The Defender. So obviously the TBR got completely pushed to the side because, hello, I got this in a PR package from Little Brown. It was so cute, all the little things in it. I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna say yes for this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. This was so good. I really didn't rate this striker at all. I kind of wished I DNF'd it, but I just forced myself to power through and I just didn't enjoy that book. I had a feeling this one was going to bring it back for me, and it really did. Vincent and Brooklyn are absolutely everything. Like, Vincent Dubois, the man that you are, I'm in love with you. This was so funny as well. This is like rivals to lovers and she's his coach's daughter, so it's forbidden romance. Then I read Pretty Pink Poison by Shane Rose. I'm gonna say no with this one. I gave it 2.5 stars. It's a dark mafia romance. It's very dark. There were parts of it that I really did enjoy, but for the most part, it was just wild. I just felt there was a bit too much going on. I didn't really resonate with the characters, either the MMC or the FMC, and I just had gripes with quite a lot of the story, which pains me to say because mafia romance, as I said, is my favourite genre, and I hate when I don't love it, but you can't love it all, so. Then I had an arc of Keep Me Never by Megan Brandy. Book 4 in the Boys of Avix series. This is Chase motherfucking Harper's book. I knew this was going to be his redemption arc and it did not disappoint. I'm going to say yes. Please go and read this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was absolutely beautiful. It was so beautiful. My heart really bled for Chase. We all know what happened in Say You Swear, and I hated him for that, but he's slowly been clawing his way back throughout the other books, and now in their final year of college, he brought it back. Him and Paige were just everything together. I absolutely fucking frothed at the mouth, inhaled it, loved it. You need to go and read this book. You need to go and read that series, really. And then finishing off October with Riot House by Callie Hart. Callie Hart is one of my favourite authors. She's wrote my favourite book of all time, Quicksilver. So I thought, let me see what this is all about. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I thought, this is my opportunity to get to it. I'm gonna say yes. I did this one on audiobook. I gave it 3.75 stars. It didn't grip me quite as much as I'd hoped, but the setting, the boarding school, the weird teachers, the students going missing, the Riot House boys, and the mysteriousness of the events going on, top tier. I really loved Elodie and Ren together as well, like their relationship. Very dark. I would say read your triggers for this because I was not expecting some of the revelations in this book. I was like, Jesus, that is dark. So yeah, read your trigger warnings, but definitely worth a read. So that's wrapping up August to October. We did start halfway through August because I realised that I filmed the last video and I'd already started reading some for August, so I'd started up to where I'd read from. So this wasn't the whole of August. We are in November now. We're actually 13 days into November, but I'm not going to touch November in this video. I'm going to save that for November, December. So there we are. August to October, yes, no, maybe recommendations. Let me know if you've read any of those books, if you agree with my recommendation, if you disagree. Drop me some of your own recommendations based on the books that I've liked. If you think I will like something, please let me know because I'm always adding to the TBR. I did just post a reading wrap up, fully in depth of all the books that I read in October and picking November's TBR. So I'll leave that video right here if you want to stay for a while. And if you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching.